Today I'm going to be planting my Kwanzan cherry tree. I got it from Home Depot for 20 bucks on sale. It's a decorative cherry. I decided I'm going to plant it today, so I am making my circle. I am cutting out the sod. I am going to set the sod aside, and the bare spots on my lawn, I'm going to replant it there. First thing to do is make a rough outline of your circle. If you have an edging tool, you can use that. I always use my trusty shovel. You do about 6 inches in from your first shovel cut, and then you pull up the flap. You can remove the whole flap, shake off the good topsoil underneath to keep that in what's going to be your spot for planting, and then toss the grass aside. You can put it wherever you want to put it after that, but just toss it to the side for now. It'll be fine. You can wait a whole day before putting that grass out there and it'll be fine. You remove all the sod, and then after that you make sure the edges of the hole are looking pretty neat and tidy. No roots from the grass that might come up later. This process can be kind of arduous, but it is worth it. You want the ring around your tree to at least be at the initial drip line. You want your hole to be twice as deep and twice as wide. I did the best I could figuring out twice as wide and twice as deep. I thought this was pretty sufficient for what I was doing. And I'm using a organic garden soil. I try and use organic when I can. This isn't a fruit tree, so it's not as important. This is just a decorative cherry, but I still went with organic. You want to amend your soil in the hole you'll be planting your tree. 50% soil amendment to 50% native soil as best as you can. I didn't have a wheelbarrow available at the time. I decided to mix this in the hole before I planted it with my hands. The best thing you could do with this is, especially if you're planting multiple trees at one time, mix all of it in a wheelbarrow. Just mix the whole batch at once, scoop it out as needed. You won't have to do this as you're doing it, and you can just go from tree to tree or whatever other shrubs, flowers you're planting, and it'll already be mixed. You can store it in a 5-gallon bucket pre-mixed if you want to do that with excess soil. You want to loosen it from the pot before you pull it out. Try not to jar the roots too much before you pull it out, and then you want to use your fingers to agitate the soil and the outer roots so it will grow outwards instead of continuing to be kind of limited to that pot shape that it's been in for so long while it was at the nursery and the store. You can try and be gentle. Honestly, short of hacking off the roots or pulling out the roots, you're pretty safe here. If you are worried because you've gotten trees from different stores or different nurseries and you're worried about cross-contamination or different diseases, you can of course clean your gloves in between loosening the roots. This is the only tree I'm planting today. I didn't need to clean my tools or my gloves. I'm good to go. I believe it's called mycorrhizae, is a great soil amendment to use around the root ball if you have it. Sorry about that. I dropped my camera. It was a windy day. But it's really important to get this right. It's really important to mix the soil amendment in with it. Will it survive without it? I mean, it definitely could, but your tree is going to grow faster. It's going to bloom more profusely if you take care of it as it suggests in the directions, if you amend your soil. This is northern Michigan soil. It has a lot of sand in it. I'm kind of fortunate my front yard does have some good topsoil. So I am adding that back in there. I'm making sure to attempt to mix in 50-50 all the way up to the top of where I have this tree. The top of The root mass should be level with your land around it. You don't want to hill it up on top of it. You don't want to tuck it below where it's going to sit slightly below and have water sitting in there. You want it just level with the soil around it. This is the final result. This is how it looks when it's all filled back in. That's where I want the dirt to sit. And now it is time to add the topsoil. I used Scott's for this. Scott's is not my first choice. I do not tend to use Scott's anything, but none of the stores I went to had anything organic. The local store isn't open yet with their Dairy Dew and stuff like that, so Scott's will work. I'm just putting a nice layer on top before I put the mulch on, which will be a natural cedar mulch. There's no colorants added to it. I just like it looking just natural. I don't need red, black. I'm fine with it the way it is. It works as intended, a couple inches deep, and this is the final place for my tree.